Welcome to this Teach Yourself guide on how to make TV promos and movie trailers. I'm Charlie Holland. There's a couple of introductory videos to this course where I talk about creative agency production process, specifically as it relates to the TV promo department. Let me just do a quick recap so the rest of this video makes sense. So here's how best practice production process goes. You're assigned a project which involves having to sell something, a TV show, a movie, some kind of product or service. You research that product and brainstorm ideas. You come up with an idea to sell the product. You write some kind of script, maybe produce some kind of storyboard. You pitch the idea, and if the idea gets the green light, you plan exactly how you're going to make it, and that production plan is then budgeted and approved. Then, and only then, you go ahead and produce the spot. And in theory at least, the final work is approved and goes to air. Okay, that's what happens in a promo department, which is fine, but there's a good chance that if you're watching this, you don't work in a promo department yet, and you'd kind of sort of like to know how to bust into one. Or perhaps you're already a junior in a promo department somewhere and you're wondering when someone is actually going to start giving you some kind of training.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
In any case, a one-size-fits-all training method doesn't really exist, but hey, I'm going to give it my best shot. For starters, I'm going to break the rest of this video tutorial into 3 sections, which handily happen to correspond with the basic skills you're going to have to master if you want to get into promos or you want to get better at making promos. They are 1. Scene selection, 2. Writing, and 3. Editing. I'll always prioritise these skills in this order no matter what, but these days the ability to edit seems to be the first thing that many employers are looking for in a promo hopeful. As I said earlier, the business can be quite prescriptive about what it wants to hear in a promo, so perhaps the belief is that script writing is something that can be simply taught on the job. Chances are you'll be told what to write anyway, which is why job ads for promo producers always seem to have ability to take direction as a requisite. Suffice to say that if you can already edit, the next thing you should learn about is scene selection and writing. And if you know nothing about editing, the first thing you should learn about is scene selection and writing. So let's talk about scene selection and writing. The technique I'm about to teach you is exactly how I train all newbies in promo making. Now, you can use it to teach yourself promos, but you can also use it to teach yourself how to make other stuff like movie trailers or any kind of advertising for that matter. It's all done with a little thing called the paper cut. No, not those annoying slices you get on your pinky. The paper cut is simply an old-fashioned way to format a multimedia communication. There was a time when video editing was outrageously complicated and was carried out by editing specialists. The equipment cost a gazillion dollars, meaning access to edit suites was extremely limited. Before they were even allowed into an edit suite, producers had to have their entire promo worked out on paper. Now, this was more than just a script. It was a plan of how the whole promo should come together. So what I'm talking about is a plan on paper of the finished promo cut, hence paper cut. So what we're going to do is run the production process backwards, starting with your choice of finished product, promo, trailer, TV ad. We'll analyse it and break it down to its individual parts, right back to the planning stage to create an old-fashioned paper cut. So here's what I want you to do. Firstly, record some promos you like from the channels you like and or the channels you want to work for one day. or record or download some ads or movie trailers if that's what you're into. Once you've done that, you create a 2-column word processor or spreadsheet page. Or you could go old school and do this on actual paper if you want. You then play back the promos and transcribe everything you hear into the left column. Now, this will be whatever the station announcer reads, which, as we've discussed previously, is called voiceover, and the people who read them are called voiceover artists. You also write down all the excerpts from the promoted program,
What did you just say to me?
which are called sound bites or grabs. While you're here, describe the tone of the voiceover. Note the gender of the voice or voices, and describe the style and tempo of the music. Okay, in the right-hand column, you need to briefly describe what's happening visually. Make notes about any visual excerpts used from the promoted show. This footage is known as overlay. Note any graphics and or other specially shot or sourced footage. Make a note of anything else that stands out to you. And finally, make a note of the duration of the promo. This will become annoyingly important. So let me do this for you right now with a real promo. The one I'm about to show you was made by producer Matt Hodges for the 7 Network in Australia. In my opinion, it's a gold standard example of the clip-based promo format. The very same format made day in, day out by promo producers all around the world. The same format of promo you're learning to make right now. Now, you might not get why I like it so much, but I'll explain that later. Okay, pay very close attention.
With both engines dead, they didn't have a chance. It's a fact that stunned investigators. Any one of the 118 passengers on board this flight could have stopped it from crashing. What they should have done is so simple, you won't believe it. An all-new Air Crash Investigations, Wednesday 8:30 on 7.
Et voila, and here's what the promo looks like in paper cut form. When I started, paper cuts were actually on paper. These days it's perhaps easier to use a computer. Desktop editing software has made paper cuts a thing of the past, but I think this is a great shame, as the discipline of thoroughly thinking about a spot before it was edited somehow added a certain efficiency to the total communication that can be lacking in many of today's promos and ads. The modern production process seems to be somewhat different. Producers start at the editing stage and just keep remaking stuff over and over until finally getting something to air. Training in promos these days seems to be about getting bogged down in your own promo editing. By making paper cuts of somebody else's promos, you're making yourself familiar with what promos look like on paper. Getting yourself used to what words are commonly used in promos, the style and tone of the words. As well as that, you'll learn how many words are being used, what kind of sound bites are being used, what effects, what overlay is being used, what kind of music. You're training yourself in what an approved promo looks like on something that you can actually hold in your hand. You are taking something you probably never gave much thought to and bringing it out into the light of your conscious. But hang about, Charlie, I hear you thinking. You just said the paper cut was dead. Why would I give a flying about what a promo looks like on paper? Well, it's because of those pesky voiceover artists. When they turn up ready to read your promo script, guess what they're counting on you handing to them? You guessed it, one of these bad boys. So, seeing your promos have to make sense on paper, the paper cut is definitely a skill that you want to master. Okay, now you need to do this for as many types of promos as you can. When you start watching out for recording and collecting promos, you'll start to see that there's quite a few types of promos. There's promos for movies and promos for TV shows, comedies, dramas, action, sci-fi, and every other entertainment genre you can think of. There's news promos, sports promos, documentary promos, reality promos, there's short promos, long promos, coming up next promos, promos that sell 2 or more shows in the one spot, promos that sell a night's worth of programming, otherwise known as lineup promos, promos that sell a week's worth of programming, a month's worth, a whole channel's worth. Now sure, some promos will interest you more than others, fine, but you should still make as many paper cuts as possible for as many promo types as possible and familiarise yourself with their differences. How many should you make? Well, I don't know, heaps. If you want me to put a number on it, 10, okay? 10 paper cuts, at least. I mean, this is the wax-on, wax-off phase of your training, Daniel-san, so don't short yourself. And besides, if what I'm assigning you here doesn't excite the hell out of you, then, maybe promo production really isn't your thing. But if it is your thing, then hey, why not go make some paper cuts? Go on, it's the easiest thing you'll do all day. And when you're done, I'll be here with the next video in the series. Off you go.
You're too much TV.
That's what my mother tells me.